Hi everyone, and welcome to the Fishhead Creations podcast, where I pull out one of my interesting knitting projects every time and talk you through the details. This time I remember to do this. My name is Anna, and you can find me on Instagram as Caledoniana, and you can find me on Ravelry as Obsty, and you can also find my designs on Ravelry, which so far are all free patterns. And there's also a Fishhead Creations Ravelry group if you are interested in asking any questions or getting in touch there instead of Instagram or the comments below. Yeah. I'm not really very awake. I'm recording this just after work, and really, writing stupid emails all day is really exhausting. It's really exhausting. I do write a lot of English, so that should be good, but I feel like there's only a certain number of sentences I'm able to form right now, and none of them are related to knitting. So we shall see how it goes today. We shall see. I'm wearing today, I hope you can somewhat see, I probably have cut off my hat again, but I'm wearing my Cockatoo Bray, which is a design by Kate Davies from her Yokes book, which I talked about a few episodes ago, and I thought I'd wear it today so you can see how it fits. At least how some of it fits, because this lens just has a very narrow focus on me, and hopefully the knitting I'm going to talk about, which will be interesting because I don't remember much about it and I didn't have time to look up the pattern. But yeah, let's get going, shall we, before I ramble on even more. Today's project is this fabulous thing, which there's a lot of. Yeah. I have no idea what this pattern is called. It's a drops pattern, and I will link to it below in the description box, but I have forgotten the name. I have no idea. I knitted this for Christmas 2016, when I had just started knitting. It took me 6 days, 7 days, about a week, around about a week. And we spent that Christmas with my boyfriend's family, and on the drive to them, which is a roughly 6-hour road trip, I finished the collar. So yeah, it was finished just in time for Christmas that year. But since I have worn it quite a lot, and I do really like it, and it does make me want to knit a dress, because it's almost a dress. It fully covers my bum. It's just slightly too short for a dress, but it's okay. I do sometimes wear it just with leggings. And yeah, it's warm, it's snuggly, it's cozy, it's brilliant. I have no idea what the pattern is called. I will link to it, promise. This is knit in Drops Nepal in some kind of heathered green, sea green maybe. It's a heathered greyish green. It does have some hints of, I don't know, turquoise, teal, some hints of a yellowish green, and I do really like the overall effect it gives. As you can see, it's a lot of stockinette, a whole lot in the body, because as I said, it's quite long, and I have a long torso, but it just grew down a lot. This is my, this is my third garment I ever knit for myself. Potentially the third I ever knit, full stop. At least adult garment. Maybe the fourth, I'm not sure. But one of my earliest garments anyway. And it turned out quite well. I had originally bought this yarn to knit a poncho, because I, on a whim, decided I wanted to knit one. And then I looked at patterns and I couldn't decide, and I eventually decided I would not wear a poncho ever. So the yarn just sat there. I had 15 or 16 balls of this, and it's, well, the Drops Nepal is one of the heavier weights. It's, I'd say, an Aran weight. I think it's about 90 meters per 50 grams, maybe 70, somewhere in that range. I did knit it at 16 stitches per 10 centimeters gauge on a 5mm needle, which I'm reconstructing because I know I knitted on a 5mm needle, and 5mm needles usually give me a 16 stitch gauge. I never actually measured. I just guess. But yeah, it's my first ever bottom-up garment, of that I'm sure, and I think I knit the body first. It started with a whole lot of 2x2 rib. I think it's 20 rows on probably 4.5mm needle. It gives you about 10 centimeters of 2x2 rib at the bottom, also at the cuffs, which I really like. What else? Yeah, it does have some waist shaping, quite a bit of it actually, which is good because my hips are considerably wider than my waist, and it does go over my hips. And it's long, it's incredibly long. I think I knitted longer than the previous garments I had knit because they are fine, but on the short side for me. But I didn't measure correctly, obviously, because it was supposed to hit me at the above my hips, or just at my hips, not be a dress. And I don't think I measured correctly, and also the yarn has about a third alpaca content, so it grew quite a lot because it's such a heavy yarn. It grew under its own weight. But I'm quite happy with the length it has now, so happy accident. The sleeves are just the perfect length. They come to above my hands approximately, but because they do have so much ribbing, I can easily push them up and cuff them up, which is perfect in my opinion. It's just the most snuggly, warm, cozy sweater ever. So whenever I'm sick or cold, this is what I put on, or when I just need a hug from my sweater. The sleeve cuffs actually were knit flat. I have no idea why I did that. I don't think the pattern called for it, but I did an incredibly bad job of seaming because it was my first time seaming and metro stitching anything. But then it's on the cuffs. No one will ever notice. So yeah, it's then joined in the round. It has this beautiful cabled yoke, which I love. I still do. And it does decrease quite cleverly in the cables. So they are 3x3 cables down here, and they are decreased to 3x2 cables somewhere in the middle, and then 2x2 cables at the top, which I think is quite a clever way. And then I think it ends in a 2x1 cable actually. It's quite a clever way to hide your decreases, just in the cable crosses. I do quite like it. And yeah, the cables are obviously separated by columns of purl stitches, and they grow perfectly into the 2x2 ribbing for the neck. There are short rows, and this was the first time I ever did any short rows, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I did the wrap and turn, but I didn't know you were supposed to pick up the wraps again and knit them together. I don't know if you can see anything of that, but it did create quite significant holes in some places. This side especially. I don't know if you can see anything about here where my thumbs come through. So yeah, these are the holes from the short rows, which are much larger than the normal stitches. But then again, it's at the back of my neck, where my hair usually is, and where I usually cover it with a shawl. So I don't mind. In the pattern, the collar itself is supposed to be at least double the length it is on here. So it just folds over and falls down again, which I just didn't do because I ran out of yarn. I was just able to get this length out of my last ball of yarn, and as it is, it's really quite perfect because it's nice and cozy and comes up to my chin, and I can just wrap a shawl around it and be extra warm, but it doesn't fold over, which would interfere with the shawl. So another happy accident. because I really like the length my turtleneck collar is. So yeah, one of my oldest garments, which is a series of happy accidents. And the pattern itself, it's a typical drops pattern. So it's not very detailed. It has all the information that is needed. And I do like a pattern that's not too wordy, so that's good. But what I do not like about drops patterns in general is just the layout. They just give you one block of text. Just one block where you have to search through for all the information you need. So I usually just copy it into a Word document and then separate out the paragraphs so it's a little easier to read. Or I just take crude rough notes in my notebook by hand, which include just the numbers for my size which I need. And then I usually go rogue by now. But even as a beginner garment knitter, and beginner knitter anyway, because I was only knitting for half a year at that point, I was easily able to follow this pattern. So don't be afraid if you ever look at a drops pattern because you think it doesn't include enough information. It does. Everything is there. It's just not very well formatted, and it's brief. Which I do like, because I dislike having to read through pages and pages of instructions when I just need one number. So I do like the pattern. No rent this time. I did promise you rent, did I? Well, nope. I think that's really it. I do like the yarn, as you may have seen, because this lens zooms in quite a lot. It really is holding up well. There's some pills under the arms, but just the big kind that you can just pull off. So just little nubs or rolls of extra fiber that's coming loose, but not this overall fuzziness that some yarns get. So I'm really surprised and happy with how this yarn is holding up. It's pretty much the heavier weight version of the Drops Lima, which I recently used for the Neville, and which in general I tend to use a lot. So I do like that blend. I'm not a fan of alpaca on its own, but when it's blended with enough wool, it does give quite a nice yarn. And sturdy and incredibly warm. So I do like that. And in general, I just love this garment, and I'm so happy I have it. I'm considering knitting a real dress, but on the other hand, do I really want to commit to do that? I'm not yet sure. Maybe I try to get my knitting machine to do all that boring stuff for me. But then the yarns I would like to use don't really work on the machine. So I will have to give it some more thought. I would like another really long knit dress, at least knee length. So yeah, I have to think about that. But so far, this one I really like, and I will look at the name of the pattern. It will have some kind of number anyway, but they usually have names with drops. But yeah, completely different topic, because that's all the knitting I have for you this week, kind of. Our giveaway winner was Marta from Norway, and congratulations again, Marta. I'm so sorry I haven't shipped out your prize yet. I will do that today, I hope. If not, it will go out tomorrow. I will let you know. But Marta, in the thread for the prize draw, asked me about my background and where I'm from. And I thought it would be quite nice to really give you some kind of introduction, because I have gained a few new viewers over the past few weeks. So yeah. My name is Anna, as I've said. I'm not yet 29 years old, but I will be next week. I live in the northernmost part of Germany, so if you imagine a map of Germany, it's pretty much quite wide, and then narrow, and then there's a little bit at the top, and then there's Denmark. And I do live on that little bit at the top, on the east coast of it, so on the Baltic Sea. I live in the suburbs of the biggest town around here, which probably is not a big town for most of you because we have about 250,000 of inhabitants. But for me, it's quite a big town, and I'm certainly not a city girl, and I'm very, very happy I live at the outer edge of the city because it doesn't feel as much like living in the city as it would in other parts of town. What else? Yeah. I do have a master's degree in German and Scandinavian medieval literature, and part-time I'm a PhD student writing my thesis about medieval Icelandic and Irish literature, which I can go on and on about, but I won't here. Let's just say I've never watched the show Vikings, and if you know me, you know why, because give me one episode of it and I go on a rant. A long, long rant. You do not want to watch Vikings with people who have studied Scandinavian literature and culture. Yeah, no, you don't. You don't. Unless you don't enjoy the show and want to hear the rant. So yeah, your choice. But yeah, that's my study background, and then my day job is just customer support. I work from home, which I do enjoy a lot, and I pretty much tell people to restart their programs and reset their devices to default and then to get a replacement because they're broken. That's my day job. It's fun because I work with fun people. It pays rent, it pays for food, it pays for what the animals need, and it pays for yarn. So yeah, that's what I do, that's who I am, that's where I'm from. I hope that gives you slightly more of an idea of who I am. Maybe if there's any questions, as always, please feel free to ask. I'd be happy to tell you more. Other than that, yeah, I live together with my boyfriend and our 2 cats. I do have a horse, whom I will talk about in a future episode because I still need to get around to digging out all the old videos. But yeah, if there's anything else you would like to know about me, about the animals, about whatever, please feel free to ask. As always, I'm very happy to engage with you and to talk with you, and I try to comment on all your comments, or to reply to all your comments here on YouTube and Instagram and wherever you might want to get in touch. I really, really enjoy that, and I'm so glad more of you are taking part in the conversation around here. And I will get to the other questions that were asked in the giveaway thread as well in future episodes, but I just thought it would be good to have an introduction here, and it would be good to answer the questions of the winner. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I will hurry up to edit this and get it uploaded, and I would, as always, love very much to hear from you. And I will see you in a future episode, which will probably be in 2 weeks, because next week I have to hurry to university when I finish work, and I will not have time to record after that because it will be completely dark and I won't be home alone. I cannot record when I'm not home alone. So, all rambling aside, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye!